London is genuinely incredible and I love it here. Hi, I'm Daisy and welcome to my channel. I'm going to be making videos about what it's like living in London. It's been one of the best and one of the fastest years of my life. It did come with its own set of challenges. Here are the things that I've learned after being in London for a whole year. It is super expensive in London, just like everybody knows. The main thing that your money will probably go towards is your rent, your transport. TfL is the only source of notifications I receive. There'll be a lot of unexpected expenses like joining clubs, especially when you're like starting off and you're trying to socialize. You go for a drink there, you go for a meal here, try out new hobbies, that will cost you money. Unexpected expenses. Food is actually not so bad in my opinion. I feel obviously it's bad in like central London as expected, but you can find local places, hidden gems, spots, you know, things that will become local to you. Those are honestly not so bad in compared to the other places in the UK, not the north. North is different, north is much cheaper. But there are ways to go around it. The first one, I would say you need to budget. I feel like everybody talks about this, but not a lot of people actually do it. Just budget. Use apps like Monzo, Revolut, meal prepping, things like that will end up saving you a lot of money when living in London because those small spends can add up quick. It is a fast city with everyone going at like 1,000 miles per hour. London made me feel like I was an introvert. I'd go to work, come back, I would be drained. I would just, you know, like couch rot and watch TV, and that wasn't really doing anything. I took the whole building a life outside of your 9 to 5 approach. This really helped me to look into doing things that I actually enjoy a bit more, exploring new hobbies and trying new food places and doing that intentionally. When you live somewhere where there's a million different choices and overwhelming amount of opportunities, you can end up doing nothing. But the key point is that you don't have to do it right away. You know, I didn't have my shit together straight away, but that's not gonna happen. So give yourself buffer time, 3 to 4 months or 5 months, but keep yourself in check because that can also become like a comfort zone thing, and then you have to exit your comfort zone and that becomes a whole new thing. Anyway, you will probably experience burnout, you will probably get overwhelmed, you're probably going to experience the negative side effects to moving such a big city. Give yourself buffer time, settle down, get your bearings, then start building your life outside of your 9 to 5 slowly at your own pace.
In 2019, the population of London was 8.99 million people.
And yet, it feels so freaking lonely here. Because it is lonely. It's so lonely. Making friends and meeting new people has got to be the hardest, most difficult thing I personally have experienced here. When you're not in a high school environment and where you're not in that educational institution, close proximity, you have to put yourself out there. You have to put yourself in uncomfortable situations outside of your comfort people, whether that's people you live with, whether that's people you work with, whether that's people that you are friends with, that you're trying to be still friends with because you know them, because that's less scary than going out and trying to meet new people, if you get me. You just have to do it. Fake being an extrovert. I'd say that is actually what it is. As uncomfortable as that sounds to really introverted people, you have to fake being an extrovert. Just fake the confidence, fake it till you make it. When you're feeling really isolated in a city where it's easy to be isolated, do small things that make big changes that you don't realize. For example, things like when you're going to a coffee shop, you know, speak to the barista. When you go to the shop, maybe don't do self-checkout and speak to the cashier. Literally tiny stupid things. Like I went to a climbing center the other day, and the second time I went, I tried to actively make an effort to be like, oh hi, how are you, you know, talk about the weather, I don't know, talk about anything, compliment their hair, spark a conversation. It doesn't have to be a full-fledged conversation, but it can literally just be like, hello, how are you? But when you have that tiny small interaction in your very isolated day, because it is hard to talk to people. I mean, if you don't find it hard to talk to people, good for you, but if it is, Try to have tiny interactions that make your day a little bit better and make you feel more connected to the city, to the community, to where you are living. Because although everyone fits in, it's a place for everybody, it can also feel very isolated. London has one of the best food scenes ever, I think. Maybe in the world, actually, I don't know. But one of the reasons I moved here, to be honest, it's so culturally diverse. You get to try different cuisines, meet different people with different backgrounds. There are always things that you can find that will cater to you, whether it's you liking food, whether it's a coffee club, a wine club, any club that you want to join will probably be here. You just need to make the effort to find it and go. If you show up, something will happen. Another thing when it comes to exploring the city is that London is actually so much bigger than people make out to be or people talk about, in my opinion. There are so many neighbourhoods, so many areas that are so distinctly different from each other. You could live here for years and not really explore much and just be around where you're living. So really take the time to explore. Secret London and City Mapper and apps like that are really good at helping you navigate London. London has one of the best transportation links and resources, like the Santander bikes, like the Lime bikes, the Uber bikes. So many ways of getting to places really enable you to explore and wander around. So that's definitely something I want to take more advantage of. I don't know if any of what I said makes sense. When you move, I feel like your insecurities definitely become more daunting. Things like fear of rejection. You maybe had personal insecurities that you thought would be fixed when you moved to a new city. That's not true. I feel like everybody knows that, but I feel like people still do it. I still did it. Like, I moved and I thought, once I move to London, I'm gonna live like this great life. I'm gonna be so busy. I'm gonna do this after work. I'm gonna do this before work. I'm gonna have a great social life. It doesn't just happen. You do have to put the effort in. It sounds so obvious, but I feel like a lot of the time it looks like things naturally fall into place for people. It really is the fruits of your labor when it comes to this big life that you imagined in the big city, which is what I'm starting to learn. London is an international city. The biggest thing is no one cares. No one cares what you're doing. No one is judging you for what you're doing. Me recording these videos is genuinely credit to that, because that's something that I've been struggling with for like 10 years of my life, especially when you're in your small hometown and you know like you're gonna run into someone that you know. Like, once you get over the cringe mountain, you're fine. This has been much easier for me to do since moving to a bigger city where there's such a diverse amount of people. You see people from all sorts of walks of life and everyone's just doing their own thing, and it's actually really inspiring. It's really motivational to just be like, oh yeah, okay, just do it. Building my confidence when you are exploring the city and doing things alone and exploring alone, this naturally builds your will to live and your confidence, and it has such a positive impact on your outlook of life. I feel like my outlook of life has significantly improved. I just feel so hopeful all the time. That's actually not true. I don't feel hopeful all the time, but it's definitely easy to feel inspired. Lastly, if you're in the position to scout areas, definitely do your research, see what the vibe is that you want to live with. Where you live in London makes a huge difference. The things that will become naturally in your routine. So making sure, that you have parks available to you and you have enough cafes if that's what you're into. Researching all of that, I would say, is really, really important. Obviously, you will be limited to what you can afford, but don't move without a financial safety net. Having a safety net of savings will definitely help you out, and it will give you some kind of relief to know that you have emergency money, especially in a city where it's so fast. You could be living in one place and then 2 months in you have to leave or something. Like things change really fast. So to be able to have less of a headache, having a financial safety net is definitely important. So that's what I did. I saved up as much money as I could before moving here. Inevitably, it will take time to settle down for the city in your own time. So that is where I'm at right now. My goal is to truly explore London through food, discovering new hobbies out there, discover parts of London that I haven't seen before. From what I've seen so far, London is genuinely incredible and I love it here. I love the fast-paced lifestyle. I feel like I'm alive when I'm here. If that sounds so deep and so cringe, but it does. It's actually true. So you just have to make the most of it. And for me personally, I'm not going to be here forever. So, and if you're moving to London, enjoy the process and absorb it and don't let it overwhelm you. Having said that, if you have any questions, let me know. If you have any tips or places that I should try, also let me know, because I would love to try new food places, sport hobbies, or arts and crafts, or anything like that. And maybe it can be in my next video. Thank you so much for watching if you made it this far, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!